As I'm sure you guys are already aware, Nintendo dropped a bomb on us earlier this week. The Nintendo Wii U as well as the Nintendo 3DS eShops are going to be closing in March or late March of 2023, according to Nintendo. That being said, you can still go out as of today, right now, February 17th, 2022, and go to the store, get whatever you want if you can find any games for these console handhelds that are out there. Or you can go into their eShops and you could punch in your credit card or debit card and get funds to buy whatever digital products you want. Here's the thing though, we're actually very close to them pulling credit card and debit card support on these platforms. On May 23rd, 2022, they are no longer going to allow you to add funds to your eShop account using a debit card or a credit card. On August 29th, 2022, they're going to pull support for gift cards, eShop gift cards that you would buy at the store, and adding them onto accounts for the 3DS and the Nintendo Wii U. It begs to question what their motives are behind this, because when this was initially announced, I was very angry. I was very much agitated at the fact that, oh man, like there's so many games that I wanted to play on these consoles and I just didn't have the opportunity. I bought a Wii U very late, like way late. We're talking about 2018. I bought a 3DS way late in its life cycle, like to the point to where the XL was pretty much going on sale. And I missed out on a lot of these games. Fire Emblem Three Houses was my first Fire Emblem game, and I said, hey, this is awesome. I want to play Fire Emblem Awakening. I want to experience that and see how that is like. And so many other titles that I just didn't know about. There are so many people that are out there that have the same experiences that I have in terms of discovering something and wanting to know where its roots were. This is why game preservation is such an important thing, and why backwards compatibility is something that Onyx and I talk about so much on this channel. The other day I was doing Coffee with Rudy on Twitch. Follow us, by the way, twitch.tv/thegamingresume, links in the description below. And we were talking about something that Game Over 30 brought up on their Twitter feed. And it brought a little bit of light in terms of why Nintendo made this decision. He came from an IT background and he worked on a lot of servers and wanted to show what it meant to actually keep one of these legacy servers running. He went ahead and he said that the reality is, if most corporations could build goodwill and keep servers and infrastructures buzzing for a small fraction of the balance sheet, they would do so. Unfortunately, that is not likely the case with this or other similar entities. Nintendo chooses, right or wrong, to set up their eShop systems per project, meaning the 3DS and Wii U eShops are very likely their own entities with their own cost structures and systems to maintain. 3DS and Wii U released in 2011 and 2012 respectively. While a decade doesn't feel like a long time, servers, operating systems, regulations, policies, and laws are continually being updated. The constant march of technology and global regulations actually causes some IT infrastructures to get more expensive to maintain over time. I once worked for a company that spent multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars per year to maintain a single legacy server for a business process. The business should have axed the server and processing many years ago, but they never did, and thus they kept paying for it. That's one server. Now look at Nintendo. The 3DS eShop, for example, likely has payment infrastructure, security, servers, operating systems, redundant channels, etc., all of which are likely on systems from the time the eShop was created, circa 2010. As these systems age, they require patches, security, special contracts, updates, and personnel that know how they were built and maintained. As time goes on, there are security holes, servers, code infrastructures, etc. that can't be brought up to modern standards. It becomes a constant struggle between maintaining legacy systems, paying people to do so, and trying to keep up with global regulations. It's not cheap by any means. They can't just leave the lights on and stop supporting them. What happens if someone hacked the payment processor? The only effective way to stop maintaining a system and paying the likely hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in support costs is to decommission the entire system. It's the only effective way to guarantee closure of any system problems and expenses. Could Nintendo have chosen a more elegant solution than building an eShop service per device? Probably, yes. Could Nintendo take your licenses from the 3DS, for example, and transfer them to a modern storefront? Yes. All of that also costs time and money. They choose not to spend it. Point being, it's not as simple as just let the servers run until they die. If Nintendo leaves systems running, not only do they get more expensive to maintain each year, they also leave themselves wide open for regulatory risks and environmental risks. We're talking hackers. So what does that mean? It means that this was a business decision. Nothing more, nothing less. It was a business decision. They looked at it and they looked at the balance sheet and what the Wii U and the 3DS were bringing in monetarily. They said, hey, you know what? It's high time that we go ahead and put these servers to rest and put these systems to rest. I myself have discovered so many games on other platforms that I've wanted to play, whether it's GameCube, N64, SNES, even the Nintendo Entertainment System. So many games that I've looked at and I'm like, man, I missed out on these. Even on the Wii and the Wii U, so many games that I'm just like, I wish I had this in order to play it. And at this point, in order to purchase some of these games, these physical copies, I have to either pay a third party an exuberant amount of money, thank you COVID for bringing up and hiking up everything, or I go ahead and I emulate. And when Nintendo does not give me a viable option to buy things legally from them, what do? Do I go ahead and I pay the scalper that's charging me $150 to play a game that came out 20 years ago? No, it's not the right way to do it. Now, obviously, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to give you legal advice or whatever it may be. We all know piracy is illegal. We all know that piracy is immoral. But the way that things are going, it's starting to look less and less immoral. I'll leave links in the description below for Citra and Simu. You can do whatever you want with them. But the way that I see it, Nintendo isn't giving us that many viable options to play these games. Nintendo isn't giving us any viable way of discovering and buying these games outright from them, of all people. They've also mentioned that they are very favorable in having these classic games or classic content on the Nintendo Switch Online subscription service. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the way that the N64 games have been emulated on that service are not that great. They're actually kind of abysmal in comparison to even some of the previous iterations of emulation from Nintendo themselves. That brings into the discussion a huge other thing about where the subscription model is going and where the gaming industry is going. I hope you guys see this, that we're going to a future to where we will no longer own anything and we will just be a subscription or a subscriber, and we will just subscribe to everything and own nothing. They'll make all the money. We will get nothing but entertainment. I personally have been an advocate for buying physical goods because to me, physical goods, they are something that is tangible. They are something that will go ahead and last me a long period of time, especially when it comes to gaming. I like being able to look at my old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too, and being able to plug this into my NES and play it whenever I want. Not having to go ahead and log in and pay somebody, a company, for a game that came out decades ago. I don't want to pay a scalper 300%, 400%, 500%, whatever it was marked at launch. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. It shouldn't make sense to you. Why would you go ahead and pay that much for an old game? No. Emulation isn't just about playing whatever game you want for free. It's about game preservation at this point. Nintendo, as well as Sony, they have taken this approach of a Disney Vault-esque. They have gone out of their way to make sure that we cannot access these games. And then, I don't know, maybe 5 years from now, who knows? It could be next year. It could literally be the next Direct. We're going to get this huge collection of games that are coming out. Or we might get the drip feed that we've been getting with NSO for NES, SNES, and now N64. My point being, I don't like the way that the system is going. I don't like the way that the industry is going. And it definitely leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Share your thoughts, opinions, whatever it may be. And I will see you on the next one, guys. Peace.
Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more and stay up to date, subscribe, hit the little bell, and join our Discord.
If you want to support the channel, please check out our Patreon or hit the join button below. As always, thanks for your support and thanks for watching.